By the way, I'm obsessed with these things. I do not have a sponsorship or anything, but Rowdy Mermaid kombucha. It's just so good. It makes me feel good, and I feel like it like depuffs me to some degree. I'm going to be adding them onto my Amazon storefront. So if you all want to, link to these, then go to my storefront, which is down in the description of every one of my videos. Okay, so this has been long requested. This is I Hate It Here by Taylor Swift. I want to hear more of Taylor. Like, it's driving me crazy that I have not listened to the whole album. A little bit of a bad hair day. I went on TikTok and I saw where you can cut your hair at home, where you do it where you like go behind your ears this way, you pull it out in front, and then do the back part here, and then you snip the same length from the front and the back. And I did that, and I cut my own bangs. It looks good the first wash, and when it like naturally goes wavy, and then the next day it doesn't look too good. So anyways, don't know why I'm talking about this, but here we go. I hate it here.
Quick, tell me something awful, like you are a poet, trapped inside the body of a finance guy.
That's funny to me. So, something awful. You think about a man who it might be a poet. Poets, as she's even said and named her album, they're tortured. So to have a poet, which I do think is attractive to her, but a tortured person who looks like a finance guy is a very weird juxtaposition, I guess I would say. To her, it sounds awful. There could be somebody out there that's actually a poet, but instead they're working in finance and working their life away indoors and focusing on numbers and money and excelling that way instead of honoring their true desire, which is to be a poet. And this is a stretch maybe, but I kind of feel like this sounds like Taylor to some degree. Taylor is a businesswoman. She is so smart. And I've heard in her interviews her talk about, growing up on the Christmas tree farm, but her dad also worked in like stocks and bonds. And so at the dinner table, they were talking about finance things. So it's kind of like her, like she's a poet, but she's trapped inside the body. Well, she's not in the body of a finance guy, but if it was her, it'd be like she's a poet trapped inside of a model's body. Because I think that that's why people react so strongly to Taylor and why she's so polarizing. It's because, with somebody so beautiful, our instinct is to hate on them and be like, gosh, she can't also be a genius. She can't also be a songwriter. She can't also be a businesswoman. And the reality is, yes, she's all of those things. It is very rare, I think, when there's somebody who gets into the forefront and encompasses all of these things. I can't imagine what that was like. I feel like that would be somewhat of a blessing and a curse. Like, that's a really, really hard thing to handle, having all of those complexities. I mean, we're all very complex, but like, it's like a whole other level. I don't even know if she's talking about a significant other. I think she could be talking somewhat about herself, or being a poet, I think was a lot easier back in the day, like the lakes. Take me to the lakes where all the poets went to die. I don't belong. So it makes me think of, someone who's like, I don't belong in this modern age. I am, obviously, this is why you all watch, but I'm going off into, I just love the lakes. And I feel like that song really embodied her love of poetry and romanticism and that time. And I think that it has a lot to do with her making this album personally. Okay, let's keep going.
Tell me all your secrets, all you'll ever be is my eternal consolation prize. You see, I was a debutante in another life, but now I seem to be scared to go outside. If comfort is a construct, I don't believe in good luck. Now that I know what's what, I hate it here, so I will go to secret gardens in my mind. People need a key to get to, the only one is mine. I read about it in a book when I was a precocious child. No mid-sized city hopes and small town fears. I'm there most of the year 'cause I hate it here.
Oh shit. Oh my, you all.
All right, this is going to be a doozy. This is a doozy for me. There's already so much that's been said.
I need a moment.
She will only be his eternal consolation prize. What is she meaning? A consolation prize is something like when you've almost won it all, but you didn't. So it's something to make you feel a little bit better about not winning it, the top honor, I guess. Oh. Well, this could be a little bit of a zinger. Like if this is talking about, let's say, one of her ex-boyfriends, maybe an actor who looks like a finance guy. And it's so funny that right now that's a popular song on TikTok where it's like, looking for a man in finance, trust fund, 6'5", blue eyes. I don't understand that song. A lot of people with trust funds don't understand how hard the world really is, but that's for another time. Say you're a poet and you truly want to be recognized that way, stuck inside a finance guy, but ends up having her. So he didn't actually get to reach, unfortunately, what he wanted in life. And his consolation prize is having this woman. So it seems like if she's saying that in another life, she was a debutante who was out and about, out on the scene, very, very social. It's very weird, though, then that in this life, she's afraid to even go outside. So it's like she's got this desire probably from a past life. And it's ironic that she can't go out and about now. And the reason for that is because she's saying if comfort is a construct is something, it's not perspective, but kind of, it's an idea or a theory around something that is subjective. So it's through the viewer's eyes, how they perceive something. Yeah, maybe it is perception in a way. So she's saying if comfort is a construct, then she doesn't believe in good luck. And I think that this has to be about fame and stardom, that's something that she wanted so badly. And to make it and to really blow up like she has, there has to be some kind of luck involved. But the luck didn't provide comfort because she hates it here. And she hates it here because now she knows what's what. It is very sad and hard, I think, for somebody who has this dream as a young person and you are in a family where you don't know exactly what superstardom is and the reality of it. You just have this dream and you think that if you can achieve that dream, everything in your life will be perfect and will work out. But I think that this is very dark, what she's realizing is that she believed that she'd hit the lottery by becoming a star. And now she's like, oh no, like this actually is not where I want to be. This actually isn't a safe place. I don't feel comfort being here. This is actually a place that I want to escape from. And I think that it's being in the music industry and in this life where you're followed by paparazzi, you can't go outside without being watched. You know, as much as everybody wants to hate on people that are you know, stars and have a lot of money, you kind of want them to be quiet because you're like, you're rich, you don't have to deal with the problems that like we all have to deal with in those struggles, which are very hard, real, and debilitating at times. However, everything comes at a cost. Nobody has an easy life. I don't think so. And so I think for her that was a huge price to pay. And I think that there's no way for her to go back. There's no way out of it, you know, because like once you become in the public eye, it's very hard to escape it. If she would have known then how it was going to affect her, she probably wouldn't have chosen this, is what I kind of have the vibe of her giving away in this. With the chorus, when she says, I hate it here, so I will go to secret gardens in my mind, this really sounds like the sacred place for her is daydreaming. And there is such a thing called maladaptive daydreaming. Daydreaming, which is a part of our lives. I think we all do it to some degree, but sometimes we can do it as a coping mechanism. High levels of maladaptive daydreaming happen in people with ADHD, which I do have. I take medication for it just a few times a week when I'm working. Sometimes you'll notice on my lives, people have asked during my lives if I have ADHD. It's like I have 4 different ideas going on at the same same time, and it's hard to catch up with them and keep track of them and then jump back to it. And it's more noticeable when I don't take my medication. But when I do take my medication, things just seem to click and feel very streamlined for me, and it's been very successful for me to take it. It's not always right for everyone. I was diagnosed with ADHD late in life when I started to like realize like, oh, I'm learning about this. I see this, and even, therapists picked up on it. And so I had the testing done, and I was diagnosed, in my mid 30s, which is late. But women are misdiagnosed or underdiagnosed than a lot of men. But I will say that anxiety, depression, daydreaming will pop up a little bit more. It can be maladaptive when it then moves a little bit more into dissociation, but sometimes daydreaming is a comfort. Sometimes I will daydream about something and feel as if it's really happening to me, and then get pulled out of it, and then I'm like, oh wait, I want to go back to that. So sometimes your daydream will be more, I don't know, appealing than your reality. Sometimes that's just what we have to do to cope, and that's what she's saying here. And it's so funny about Secret Gardens. I love the Secret Garden movie from 1993 specifically, and when I walk out to take out my trash out my back door, I have ivy flowing down, and when I open it, the way that the door like creaks, I feel like I'm in the movie The Secret Garden. And oftentimes I will sit back there and just like daydream about being in the Secret Garden, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now, if I was doing it and losing track of time, staying out there throughout like a whole session, that's when it's a problem. So look out for that. A precocious child, she's talked about this before. This is somebody who has developed certain abilities that are beyond their years, and having those attributes early on can get a lot of praise, but then it's also, cannot be so great for you. So she's learned about this. She read about it in a book, and I don't know, it's very much giving me the feels of just of escapism in your mind. And yeah.
There most of the year 'cause I hated you.
When she's saying she goes there most of the year, that means most of her life. That's concerning. I hope she has talked to her therapist or her doctor about this condition.
I hate it here. My friends used to play a game where we would pick a decade we wish we could live in instead of this. I'd say the 1830s, but without all the racists and getting married off for the highest bid. Everyone would look down 'cause it wasn't fun now. Seems like it was never even fun back then. Nostalgia is a mind's trick. If I'd been there, I'd hate it. It was freezing in the palace. I hate it here.
Oh, okay. She's talking about nostalgia, like how we will look back to a certain time and romanticize it. And it's so interesting that I talked about the lakes earlier, and the romantic era, that period of time was like 1780 through 1850, I believe. So it's funny that she like wants to go to the 1830s and brought that up because she would want to be around all of those amazing poets. But the truth of the matter is that there is never a time where there isn't something awful about it and something that would make you hate it, like the racists, So her friends are playing this game and they look down because it's like, okay, well, the truth is there's really no decade that is perfect.
I hate it here, so I will go to lunar valleys in my mind. When they found a better planet, only the gentle survived. I dreamed about it in the dark. The night I felt like I might die. No mid-sized city hopes and small town fears. I'm there most of the year 'cause I hate it here.
She is talking about lunar valleys in her mind. So it's very interesting. Lunar is the moon, and the moon, because I'm obsessed with these type of things, has valleys in them. You can't see these valleys with your naked eye, but they're like, it's funny that I want to say depression. The valleys are long depressions like in the moon's surface, and I think that she's maybe hinting toward how hating it here makes her feel a little bit depressed. She is talking about going away to the place that's just for the sensitive. It's funny because what was the song? Sweet Nothings, I think. She talks about like having to admit that I'm too soft for all of it. And she's talking about like wanting to escape to a place where all of the sensitive people can go because she doesn't like it here.
I'm there most of the year 'cause I hate it here. I hate it here. I'm lonely but I'm good. I'm bitter but I swear I'm fine. I'll save all my romanticism for my inner life, and I'll get lost on purpose. This place made me feel worthless. Lucid dreams like electricity. The current flies through me, and in my fantasies I rise above it. And way up there, I actually love it. I hate it here, so I will go to secret gardens in my mind. People need a key to get to. The only one is mine. I read about it in a book when I was a precocious child. No mid-sized city hopes and small town fears. I'm there most of the year 'cause I hate it here. I hate it here. Quick, tell me something awful, like you are a poet trapped inside the body of a finance guy.
Damn, you all, that was intense and it's dark. And it makes me feel really bad for her because I think she thought that this would be a place where she would be accepted and feel happy, maybe. And all that it's done is make her feel worthless. It's just like having to live with your choices, but then also living with choices that you made, maybe not knowing the context of everything that exists in your life or what was coming toward you, if that makes any sense. Sounds like she's having to be very protective of herself. Any romanticism or something that's really not safe outwardly or shared with somebody else, that it's something she's got to save for her inner life. And, you know, after going through divorce and everything, I very much relate to that. I don't feel as if it's safe to share that part of myself because
I'm better and fine. I'm lonely, but I am good.
you know, when she's saying like lucid dreams, like dreaming in a way that feels as if it is really happening. And if you are someone who has lucid dreams, I've had times where I've had to call my friend because things in my dreams had seemed so real that I was like, wait, was that a dream? Was that reality? Like, it's a very odd experience. But she's saying that it runs through her like a current, like electricity. So it's very real. And she's saying like that life in her mind, that's where she loves it. She doesn't actually love being here. So that does make me think of her not being like grounded necessarily in her body and experiencing some disassociation. It might be a little bit more the maladaptive daydreaming. It could be very much disassociation. So it also sounds like it could be a bit of a trauma response because she's saying that no one can get to her inner life or her dreams or her secret gardens that are in her mind without her key. She's the only one that holds the key. And I think that her having that provides her probably with a sense of control. And a lot of times when we've experienced trauma or distress, certain situations, or mental disorders, you know, like anxiety or depression, we will do anything to gain control or have a sense of control over our lives. It does give me like a tinge feeling of suicidality just because of, you know, how much it seems as if she doesn't really want to be here. So I will say, if anybody is experiencing that, there is support, and I will link resources for you below. Yeah, this is a dark one. I feel like she's letting us know, like, I don't really like the world, the career that I created. In fact, I actually hate it here. Sometimes I think that we can feel this way, that we weren't meant to live in this time. Like if we were someone who we're like introspective or dreamers, and the hustle of things, the nature of schooling and what's expected of us, and the fast-paced nature of life. I think that there's a huge amount of people. This world that we're living in right now isn't compatible with us. It doesn't allow us to show our strengths, or it doesn't allow our bodies to calm or get regulated, because it's just so against what we feel is right for us in our bones. And I totally relate to that. When I have worked in settings where it was fast paced, or I mean, I can thrive in fast paced, but if it's just been in an environment that it can just feel really abrasive to somebody with a creative mind, or someone who needs some space to really digest things. Okay, I hope you all enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this. I feel like this is an incredible song. Can't wait to hear what you think. You all take care.